Hello and welcome to this small little seminar in the series of free VSTs, what I use. And today we're going to look at SPAN, that is a free spectrum analyzer and a phase correlation shower as well. Ableton Suite has a spectrum analyzer. I actually think this is a tiny bit better than Ableton's. Ableton's is still fine, but here you can actually see mids and sides as well. Well, let's just open up SPAN. And it's from Voxengo, and I'll put where you can get it in the link in the YouTube channel. So this is how it looks when you open it up. And if we turn on some music, you can see how it looks. So we can see down here we have bass, mids and highs, and we can see all the frequencies that's gonna be played. And now you can see we'll come some with some drums and stuff. So from the get-go, this is how it looks. On here, this is the spectrum analyzer. We can actually see true peak clippings. We can see regular true peaks. We can also see this correlation meter. We'll come back to that later because this is about phasing and whatnot. Then here we can see we have left and right, but we'll change that later on. Right now, this is on my master channel. I'll turn down the sound a little bit so we can hear what I'm saying. This is on my master channel. You could of course put it on everything, but if I wanted to put it on everything, I'd just solo the drums. Now it's the drums I see. So for me, it's just easier that it's always there on my channel. But the cool thing here is that if we hover over this, we could see a small cross, but also up in the corner we could see which hertz I'm looking at. And up here you can see which notes or key it will kind of follow. There's a big gap here, and that's the clap, or yeah, what it's called. It's right here. So I know it's a little bit too loud maybe compared to the drum. Let's try and loop this. So you can see I'm not interested in this. Is called like a smile thing, where you have like a smile where there's a lot of low end and a lot of highs, but not a lot in the middle. So that's what you think. You want as linear as possible. But right now you can see there's a lot of small little frequencies we can see. And now we can go in here and open this up. So now we open up this spectrum mode editor. And here it gets a little bit more interesting because if we take this out with all the frequencies, we can go in and say down here, mine is set, yours would be at 2200. That's the information this will read. So I would go in and say, okay, I actually want it on 8000, so I want more info. But you can see now we got even more of them, but it's just the info it's reading. After that, I would set the time for this. You can see if I go upwards, now it kind of slows down. So I want this kind of on 4.4-ish. So now it's slow. And that means that I can, in my master, I can check the frequencies not bouncing around, because if we go down, we can get it to like go crazy if we want to, but this doesn't give me the right info that I want. I just wanted to see it more in this big thing when I'm seeing it. And I don't even want to see all these small little flinches. I want to see something that's useful for me. So I can get this down here that's called smooth. If I hit that on, and then we could set how much we want on it. So you can see 1 octave, we don't see a lot going on. But it actually still kind of show me stuff that maybe I should put some sounds in this region or EQ my weight out of that I get a more linear thing here. I would though not have it on an octave. I would probably have it on 1/12 octave. So we have a little bit more info, but it's still slow. So we can see there is stuff going on down here, but I really want this to be more linear. We could also see, normally the spectrum here shows what our ears are actually capable of hearing. But in this spectrum analyzer, it can actually go beyond. So we can actually see there's more going on than our ears actually can hear. Even though that our ears cannot hear it, there would still be mud in the end. So that tells me I need to kind of make a low cut so I can get rid of this, because it will affect how if it's played on big speakers, and it will get a little bit more muddy, the mix. But we can set this to low, and the high, it kind of goes to here. It's what we hear. You can see it goes a little bit over 20,000 hertz, but I like just to have it as normal. It's just, yeah, the range low, high. So you can see we can zoom it in and out. What we can go lower and see if we want more of the low. Pretty nice. And also the high if we need to see more. The slope, I have no idea why we want the slope, because now we could actually just tilt it, and this is not how our ears hear the music, because now it's kind of wrong, because it says actually now there's a lot more top than bottom. So I don't know why it's here. If I hit command or where is it? The double click. Just double click. Then we go back to the original thing. The cool thing about this also is we can choose colors. I really don't like the green, because I'm looking at this a lot of times. I want it smooth in my eyes. So I like either this, or like something like that could be nice. So right now I have this just meter. We can also hide the meters and status, so we just have the raw spectrum of it. But let's just keep this for now. And then right now we could say underlayer. This one doesn't really, it's the routing up here. We could kind of route stuff in and out of each other. Right now I don't need to do that. But what we can do is that we could go into this little tab and see that we could go from mid to side stereo. And that's what I really use all the time, is that if we show this, it's still the underlayer that's here, but now we could go to sides. And this is what's going on in our sides. So the stereo picture and not the mono. So all of this is the mono, and this is the stereo. So this is nice. But if we go in here, we could see when we click on this, we have this filled display. And I want to go to the underlayer that we are on and just click not filled. So now we can see this is the mono signal, and this is the stereo. So this is pretty much how I would have my metering going on. And the cool thing is now it says mids and sides. So we can see this is the sides and the mid over here. Yeah, it's pretty easy to make we can close this down now. It's easy to make your own presets. You can see I have mine here. I have master focus, slow, sides in focus, and we have to activate it. So you can see this is how I normally see it. And then we could go with something like master in focus. So this is just the master left and right, that's in focus. We could go mid-size, slow. So it's very slow when you see it. So you can just make your own presets here. Regular spectrum, that's just showing when I have some sounds going on, which frequencies they're going in. So that is basically it for this this VST. And it's amazing it's free because it's actually pretty powerful. But right down here we have this correlation meter. And this is if we can see if our track or on different sounds are doing phasing. So phase cancellation, phase issues, what is that? So I made this little slide here that we can see, and I made a small little graph that actually just shows you what phase issues are. So in here, in phase, if we have two wave files that goes on top of each other, that would just make the wave files louder. So we just double up and it will get louder. But if we have 180 degrees out of phase, so that would be, now you can see this goes up and this goes down. So on top of each other, they cancel out. And it means like 1 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 0 is 0, 1. Yeah, 2, sorry, 1 on the middle one. But minus 1 plus 1 equals 0. So it's the same, it's just math when you calculate that. And it's basically what's happening to the phase. But if you then take different waves and put on top of each other, you just make a new wave file. And that's basically the rules of phasing. And it's not more complicated than that. But you can see I made this little thing where it's actually, yeah. And in case of audio, positive and negative waveforms neutralize each other out. And you can't hear anything. I'll try and do that in real life as well, so you can actually see it or hear it. And it's easiest to kind of see with two sine waves, because that's the most simple waveform we can get. But that's also where it completely cancels out. Where if we have two opposites wave files that makes a new thing, that will kind of go into each other, so it will cancel each out sometimes and not other times. So that's where it gets confusing. But the correlation meter is like it shows if it's +1 or minus 1. So if it's from 0 and downwards to minus, it has phase issues. And that's what the meter here kind of shows. So you can see we're at +1, so we don't have anything that kind of do that. But if we go to maybe here, let's see, now you can see it starts to bounce, not that one, what about, let's see, sound. Well, now it starts to go in minus. So there is phase issues, but these phase issues, are they an issue when it's this sound? I don't believe it. It's a phase issue. Of course, the more at 0 it is, the more width it has. So it's allowed to go to 0, but when you go over 0, that's where you can hear stuff kind of gets quieter and louder at some points. Yes, if it goes beyond, like on minus ground, then there's cancellation, and that's what we can see with this meter. This is free. Free plugin. Yes, but to correct it, the same company, Voxengo, made this PHA 979. So if I put that on top of here, so this one is you can see it kind of looks the same, and it's not free, but you can get some percentage on it right now, I think. But you can see the correlation meter here instead. So now you can actually see where in the frequencies there is, well, right now it's actually not showing too much. Now it starts to, we can actually see where the frequencies are going in phase. And we can correct it by delaying one of the sides, so it's not going to phase. And that's, you know, this one could go like both ways. I think 3.5 is what's normally, but now you can see it starts really to affect this. So this is the old way of doing it, but we can also just reverse the phase here, and then it should be a lot better. All right. So, but it's not free. This is not free. I think it costs $20 or something. It's okay price. But this can correct if you, and especially it's in basses. Basses kind of cancel each other out, so maybe it won't sound that loud to you that it normally would do. But you don't have to buy this, because we can take something like utility, and then we could put it onto this. So I don't know if you noticed this. I'll just drag this out so you can see it. But it has this input and it says Ø, or this O here. Yeah, but it's the phase. It's in Danish called Ø, not Øl. Yeah, but here the input, we could face the one of the sides if we want to, so it's not going to do the phase issues. We could also go bass mono down here, so we'll take from 120 hertz. From under that, it will make that mono, and on top of that stereo. That will correct the bass issues for phasing as well, some of the times. Or we could go fully mono if we want to as well. Right. We could do it like here is only the right. We could swap them if we want to. There's a lot of stuff we can do with the phasing. So you don't need to have the other Voxengo plugin. But to demonstrate here, we have two sine waves. Right now, if I play this, we have a tone. Let's have a bass tone. And we'll make this a lot smaller, because I don't need to have this open like that. And we go to our main, and then we can see here on a oscilloscope, and here we have the sine wave here. But if we start to invert, we can make it bigger again, sorry. Put that down here. Make this a little bit bigger, we can still see the sine wave, yes. So, right here you have this phase again. So right now, both of them are doing the exact same. But you can see if I move the starting point to here. So now, when it starts here on this one, the 180 degrees, it starts the wave file here, but it starts when this is going down and this is up. So now we have this. So you can hear the sound, what happens to that. And it's kind of crazy because the sound is still playing. There's still sound in the speakers. You can just not hear it. It's like turning down volume. So let's start with 180 degrees. And then start to look at the sine wave.
It begins to cancel out with the other?
Oh, fully. Now it's gone. But I'm still playing. I'm holding the note down. I'm still playing, and we're not hearing any of them. And that's the typical phase cancellation, is that when the waves are the opposite of each other, they would cancel out. So you can see it will be a big problem at some point, because if you're doing multiple basses or you're not sidechaining your kick to the bass, you would definitely get phase cancellation. And the bass would not sound, for the first, it would sound like rumble stuff, but there would be a lot of cancellation going on as well. So, yeah. But that was a long talk about phase cancellation and as well as the metering, what it does. But I think it's very important as well. Any questions? Yes. Yes. So the question is, if I could explain again why a complicated waveform is more difficult. It's because maybe the wave file at the low end is not canceling stuff out, but in the middle. So you have to kind of choose, especially in Ableton, you can only phase reverse it. But then it means that you phase reverse it where it sounds good and not in the middle. So you can also delay it, the signal a little bit. So if the two are going opposite, but if you change one of them, like if we start to go a little bit, now we get sound again. But if we do it with, let's say, track delay, so if we can do it down here with, let's see, track options, with a track delay. So if you have multiple basses, you could do with, in milliseconds, you could just a tiny bit, just 1 or 0 point something, you kind of delay the signal. The ears should not be able to hear it, but you are making it the thing slower or faster in one direction, so it would be kind of more, what would you call it, swing-ish, but, or it could sound like the plug-in phase if you have two basses that, because they slightly go out of phase. But you can correct it with this as well. But was that an answer that it's hard when you have some that's not, and then you flip it, but then you have another problem, you know? Because some of the when it's not a pure sine wave, it's not the same all the way. Then you have something that's not doing it, but sometimes the crossover would do that. It's phase cancellation, not the whole thing, but some of the spectrums. Yeah, it is. It's like this. No, and then it is hard. It is hard to understand sometimes, but this is the first step for like understanding phase issues. And I would say this is more of a master engineer thing than a producer thing. But you could run into this problem where you think, wow, what happened to the bass? When that happens, where it's like, it didn't sound when I started the sound, and now I've put in a lot of instruments, but now it's kind of disappeared. That's because of phase cancellation.
So the process when we create something would be to, like, how would you approach it from someone that is a beginner, let's say?
Let's be a beginner. I would only do something with that if that occurred, that you like definitely could hear a difference. Then I would say, okay, where's the problem here? Is it because everything is too loud? That would be the first thing I would check. If all my tracks were not mixed and everything was just at 0 all the way, then I would mix it. If it's still like the bass is still very low, then I would say, okay, maybe it's something with the phase. But that would be 1 out of 100 times. And sometimes it's really a small thing that you could hear a dip in the bass. It will still be there, but it will be a little bit quieter, or it would be a little bit more muddy. Then it could be a lot more cleaner if the phase is right. Mm-hmm. Make sense? Kinda?
It does.
Kinda? Cool. Cool, but that was it for this little seminar. Hope you enjoyed it, and